What's up, guys? It's time for another weekly update. So, go put on that other pot of coffee, go grab that sandwich for lunch, sit down, and get ready for some updates. So, here we go. So, first, I wanted to share some info with you guys from a letter that Sarah wrote me. And I mean, there's nothing too deeply personal on here. It's really just her asking me about a few things and just let me know kind of how it's going. So here's what happened. So on Tuesday, she said, basically it's one letter. I mean, it's one thing, but she's got some stuff that she wrote that's dated Tuesday and some other stuff she wrote that continues on to the back dated for Wednesday. So 14th and 15th. So on Monday the 13th, she qualified on her M4. That's the rifle they get with the backup iron sights is what they call it. I mean, yeah, it's a backup, but it was around before scopes. But anyway, so she's talking about the backup iron sights. She really didn't like it too much. She actually said she was really nervous because she didn't pre-qualify on Saturday, which when I spoke to her last Sunday, the day after, that's what she told me. I mean, she was automatically like worst case scenario. She's like, I hope they're not going to recycle me and send me back through with another batch of people. And oh man, I really hope I don't fail to qualify. And I was like, and again, I don't know what the difference is between qualify and pre-qualify. I'm not sure I don't know what the difference is as far as the requirements or how that works, but she did qualify. She was glad to have that done out of the way, and then because of that, now they get their scope. It's the CCOs, she says, which means close combat optics. She says it's basically a red dot scope. She said we start training with it this week, and I'm excited to use it. I mean, yeah, if all you've had at that point is iron sights on any kind of a rifle, yeah, I'd be excited to finally get to use a scope too. Whether it's an M4 or anything, just period, just any kind of rifle, like, yeah. I would definitely be more excited about the scope than the... And the really cool thing is they go back and do it. They start out with it in this little simulator kind of thing. I don't know. She says like some virtual simulator. And I guess it's to avoid the expenditure of ammo. I guess they make sure you do kind of decent there before you... But anyway, she said they also got fitted for their dress uniforms. And that was really cool. She said that she got fitted for the pants were itchy. But so, when you get your regular uniform and the rest of your gear when you first show up at basic, you're kind of just going through the line and they just kind of look at you and it's kind of like, okay, well, yeah, you look like a medium, here you go. You're large, here you go. And I mean, that's assuming they have that size. I don't know what they do. I don't know if you can exchange it later or something if you're a medium and they're like, well, sorry, we're out of mediums, just wear the large for now. I don't know. But basically that's how they do it. They don't exactly bust out the tape measure and, about this far across. They don't do all that. You don't get measured or fitted for anything. But the dress uniform is different. They do actually kind of measure you and fit you for that. So that's nice, right? It's going to look good. I'm excited to see her at graduation in that. And speaking of graduation, she told me that there's a chance that we'll probably get to go visit on the weekends. So on the weekends, I'll be to go down and spend a little bit of time with her maybe. And that'll be fantastic. Also, the consensus that I'm getting from other people who have soldiers is that during AIT, it's a little bit different from basic. So they're not like holding on your phone and just handing it out to you for like 15 minutes on Sunday. Which kind of seems to be, I guess that's the norm. I guess they've decided that's what they're going to do. I don't know. It hasn't necessarily been consistent, but usually the last 3 weeks, it seems like it's been 10, 15 minutes at the most, which isn't much time. I mean, when that's your wife and you haven't really talked in person since the last week and, because there's stuff going on here. And obviously, I don't want to overburden her or worry her, but on top of what's going on with me and what's going on with her, there's just some general things that her and I have to be able to kind of keep up on. It's just literally impossible. All Army mantra aside, all whatever propaganda, whatever, there's just some things you just need to be able to have at least a few minutes a week to be able to go over just because Well, I mean, we're husband and wife. We share a bank account. We have bills. We have pets. We have things that go on that after the training in the Army, and she's going to have to come back too, right? So, to at least a mild, limited extent, we kind of need to be able to have a little bit of back and forth and just get on the same page, just make sure she knows what's up and all that. So you don't get out of basic and AIT and then come back and just, boom, boom, boom. You find out 7-8 months worth of everything has happened and you have no clue what's been going on. I mean, I get that there's this isolation going on. It's part of the whole process. And I would agree with that to an extent, to a large extent, but not completely, not 100%. I feel like that's a little impractical. But anyways, so in AIT, hopefully I'll get to see her on the weekends. She'll have her phone available. So once she's done with that stuff for the day, each day, she should be able to talk to me a little bit more at length, which will be nice. But other than the dress uniform and all of that, and then she also says, she says, P.S. And if you've been looking at my Facebook, you probably saw me post the picture I took of this. But she says, I want real food and to take as much time to eat it as I want. So that's kind of funny. They get 2 minutes, 5 minutes to eat, something like that. It's not a whole lot of time. It's really not. It's like hurry up and eat, hurry up and wait, hurry up and hurry up. Okay, jeez, would you hurry with your hurrying? Because we need to get there 3 years ago. Let's go. So that's kind of how that's going. But that's really kind of it. That's just what's going on. I am glad that she is able to write to me back and forth. Been using Sandbox. It's really great. I will say the only drawback I've run into for Sandbox is if you send a photo with your letter, you can only do one. Now the way around that is you can get several photos and stitch them together. You can make a collage. But even then, and it doesn't even seem to matter about the file size as far as, if you like a JPEG file on your computer or a picture file. It doesn't even matter whether it's, 100 kilobytes or 2 megabytes. It seems to be okay with that. But it seems to have to do with the size of the actual literal size of the picture, regardless of the quality of the image. First of all, it has to be a square. They don't seem to like rectangles or any other shapes, but it's like a square, and you're basically forced to kind of crop it. Its dimensions are only so big, and you have to kind of stick everything inside of that. Every time I do a photo, it kind of feels like if you're trying to take your banner image, on Facebook, the banner at the top of your page, and you're trying to turn that into your profile picture. There's that little round kind of, you're trying to make it like that. It's got to fit and that's kind of what it feels like. So that's cool. That's just a little challenge there. I mean, I guess if we had a printer or a Polaroid camera or something like that, old school like that or something, I guess you could print some pictures out, or you could take your little SIM card or SD card down to where, I actually have a micro SD card that I have to use for my 3D printer, and I have a couple of different versions of things like this where you can put the little micro SD card in there, and then it's just a USB thing. So that's kind of cool, because then the storage is only limited by the size of the SD or micro SD card, but also because it's a great way to take something that's on a micro SD card and get it on something else. I use it for my 3D printer because my 3D printer has a slot that takes micro SD cards. Now, it's got a little spot where you plug a little USB cable, but it's not really a USB port. It's something else. But anyway, so I use this all the time. I'll stick the card in there, put that in, put the file on the computer, take that out. So, something like that, maybe I could run down to you could go to an office supply place or something, like an Office Depot or Staples or something, and get that printed off or something maybe, and then or like a FedEx, Kinko's or something, I don't know, wherever. Anyways, so, and then you could physically mail some pictures, I guess. I could do that if I was sending mail, but Um, we're not writers. We're not really like traditional, like put a letter in an envelope, address it, stamp it, and send it. I think the last time we sent any significant amount of mail like that was like when we sent out the wedding invitations like 4 years ago. So yeah, so hence sandbox also because I don't have a printer and I don't have notebook paper and my handwriting's not real neat. Hers is good. So hers is like I'll show you. It's very nice. It's very good teacher style. So yeah, so it goes. P.S. I want real food, and she did ask me about the YouTube videos and all that. So because it's not like she can watch them, right? So she kind of doesn't really have that going on. Like you got to remember that. But yeah, so that's the tricky part because she did ask me for some photos. She said, "Hey, because they're cut off. I mean, they don't get like the news. They don't go run down and grab a cup of coffee for breakfast and grab the paper and sit there and read it. There's no like, let me pull up the news on my phone. Yeah, no, I mean, she didn't get any of that. Like they don't know what's going on. Like the whole, as far as they know, the whole rest of the world is gone, and it's just like here and there, and that's it. Like I mean, she wouldn't know. So they don't really get a lot of like, it's not like they're really plugged in to the outside world, so to speak. But that's it, guys. That's the update. I just wanted to say that, yeah, it is hard. It is very difficult to go through these things, especially like the birthday and the anniversary, like we've done here, and not have her around. I think at this point, even our cat and dog are starting to kind of miss her. They have never gotten this much affection from me like in their entire life, and believe me, we treat them well. They have it good. They're spoiled fur babies. There's no, you spend like just a day with us, and you'd be like, yeah, they got it good. But now that she's gone, they really got it good. When she comes back, our dog Brownie, her and Brownie are going to have to fight it out to see who gets that side of the bed back again. I know Littlefoot's used to, she would always be up earlier than I would be because there were times where I didn't have to start work until 9 a.m. So I wouldn't get up at like 6 or 7. But she would get up early like that, and she'd be drinking her coffee and checking her Facebook or whatever. And our cat Littlefoot, he's a tuxedo, he would come around and get some affection from her and she'd pay attention to him and all that. So, and even Brownie would too, really. So, they don't quite get that kind of thing anymore. So I know they miss her, and when she comes back, it'll be great. We'll all be glad to see her. Other than that, though, that's pretty much it. Kind of light on the updates, which is kind of good. I mean, they say no news is good news, so I'm glad that she writes. I'm glad that we did the sandbox thing. Well worth it, considering the price per token you buy includes return postage, which is nice. So until next week, guys, that's it for our update. Thanks for watching.